Padmaavat will release across the country this Thursday as the Supreme Court refuses to modify its earlier order on Padmaavat. Well, yesterday, Rajasthan and the Madhya Pradesh government had petitioned the top court for a review and said that states must be allowed to stop the film on grounds of law and order trouble because of protests against it. All right, a big story now coming in, developing news with regards to India's top court. Once again, Padmaavat will release across the country. The Supreme Court refuses to modify its earlier order on Padmaavat. Yesterday, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh's government petitioned the top court for review and said that states must be allowed to stop the film on grounds of law and order trouble because of protests against it. Padmaavat, which now has the new name change, was originally supposed to be released December 1st as Padmaavati, but the movie from the get-go has been plagued with controversy, from the storyline to some of the sets being vandalized to the cast and crew even receiving threats. Sanjay Leela Bhansali is making Padmaavat right now with the lead cast including Deepika Padukone, Shahid Kapoor and Ranveer Singh. It will release January the 25th, almost 2 months from when it originally was set to release December the 1st. Members of the Rajput community, the Kadni Sena, in fact, have said that it projects and portrays inaccuracies in the storyline, which is one of the reasons why the movie, in fact, had a name change from Padmaavati to Padmaavat, portraying that the queen of Padmaavati portrayed there was misrepresented. In fact, there was a song sequence, one of the songs, Goomer, was in fact computerized and edited to cover up a midriff where Deepika Padukone was showing a little bit of skin to appease the controversy. There is concern, though, as the release date approaches, almost 48 hours left, with protests breaking out given the upcoming release, saying that there are parts of the movie which portray Padmaavati, the queen, in a perhaps not an inaccurate fashion. Again, the developing news now coming in, the green signal been given by the top court for releasing Padmaavat. All right, let's go straight to Jessica Taneja. Again, more updates coming in, Jessica, from one decision by the court to another, this time pertaining to a Bollywood film, Padmaavat, changed the name from Padmaavati. This time, the signal at this point saying that it can release across India, sort of not paying heed to what Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan had to say when they said that states should really have the decision-making power when it comes to releasing the film because of protests and things perhaps going out of hand. Jessica.
That's right, Archit. You know, what has been going on with this particular movie, and it's running successfully, not in the box office right now, at least in the Supreme Court corridors, is because of the fact that this movie has been in court for so long. And the fact that, again, Supreme Court has said if you don't wish to watch it, don't watch it. Watch it. The movie will release. We cannot ban the movie. We cannot curb the freedom of expression and the artistic freedom of a particular individual who's trying to come out with a certain piece of art. That is not our job to do. We are not going to let you take law and order in your hands. The state's job is to maintain law and order and not come out against a certain fictional narrative and give in to the demands of the fringe groups. So, Supreme Court, as usual, has, of course, come out in favor of the filmmaker and said that the filmmaker should be allowed to release the movie. There is no particular ban that can now be put on Padmaavat. This controversy needs to end. And remember, these are the two states, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, who had come out and said that they won't let the movie get released. Also asked their fringe groups to sort of not let the moviegoers go to the cinema halls. With that as well, the Supreme Court says that the state government needs to ensure there is enough policing around in the place, there's enough patrolling in the place to stop these fringe groups from taking law into their own hands. So, given how these things are going, the Supreme Court has been making it absolutely clear that neither the moviegoers who need to be affected nor the filmmakers who want the movie to be played in the cinema halls and not continuously face this legal battle of banning the movie by certain states who are giving into the rights of the fringe groups.
Absolutely. You know, Jessica, another interesting point with regards to this is so much initially what was perhaps thought as a publicity stunt. Obviously, no longer that is the case, but so much controversy for this movie with a name change, the protests, the sets being vandalized, to even death threats for the main lead actress, Deepika Padukone. then inaccuracy of the storyline, changing part of the song sequence, and then, of course, changing the name of the film itself, postponing the release date. I mean, this certainly talks about freedom of speech, especially in the world of film, which is supposed to be a fictitious representation. What type of a precedent does this set, perhaps going forward for other filmmakers, or perhaps the Indian mindset when it comes to movies or historical movies like this? And, of course, this is not the first time that a historical movie has been made, but going forward, perhaps, could we see maybe movie makers not go this route, given all the troubles that Padmaavat has experienced already?
It's a trouble, actually. You know, if you see when Sanjay Leela Bhansali was in fact making the film, he was not spared even then. The Karni Sena, these fringe right-wing groups at him back then as well. And then after that, you know, when the movie was supposed to release on the 1st of December, but was now postponed to 25th of January, again, the films had come in and said that, no, we can't let the movie get released. It's not easy for the filmmakers. In fact, one has to look at both the aspects. Of course, if the groups demand that they have some sentiments attached to it, or they have some religious or a particular historical facts attached to it, which cannot be manipulated, the myth cannot be busted, and the filmmakers have invited these groups to see it, but they continuously refuse to do so. That is sort of being and showing such goonish behavior, which does not get accepted even by the court of law. So given the court of law, it's taken into consideration that goons cannot exist. You cannot ban a piece of fiction based on the fact that you fantasize about it. It might have something which is not going to appeal to you or appeal to your certain historical facts. The court also takes that into cognizance, that this is not something that the individuals of this country can do. You're given a right in the Constitution of India to express your opinion, to express your, you have your right to freedom, right to liberty, right to equality, but that doesn't give you, a sort of a position where you can infringe upon the other's right to freedom and others' right to equality, others' right to freedom of expression. So given that complex state in mind, the Supreme Court has made it clear that whatever these fringe groups want, even if they try to vandalize the cinema halls, it is up to the state to maintain law and order within the premises of the cinema halls or where the moviegoers are going. It is their job to ensure that the moviegoers feel safe while going and watching the movie.
Absolutely. Well, one more question to you, Jessica, when it comes to this. Again, a quick update for those just joining in. India's top court now saying Padmaavat will release across the country. The Supreme Court refusing to modify its earlier stance on Padmaavat. Just yesterday, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh's government petitioned the top court for a review. They also asked that states be allowed to stop the film on grounds of law and order in case of protests that may break out given the controversy. Jessica, my question to you as we sort of wrap this up is, will this perhaps, I know it's early to predict, but could perhaps people be afraid of protests breaking out at cinema halls or on the way to the cinemas, especially in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, or even other states in India, and perhaps not go? Could this, at the end of the day, affect the film and its box office numbers, given all the violence and protests sort of associated with the movie?
Well, it's an interesting question here, because that is what the filmmakers and the producers came to court and said, that this is going to affect the people for whom the movie has been made, for whom the movie is going to be released for. They are the moviegoers. They watch the movie. They decide. That is how a business runs. That is how the whole blockbuster sort of phase goes through. For a movie, how is it possible that these moviegoers are not affected when these fringe groups say that 22,000 of our women one day they threaten that if the movie Padmaavat is released in these particular states or in the country, 2,000 of our women will burn themselves in the fire, and of course all sorts of weird threats that we see from these fringe groups who are not ready to accept that this movie might just be a piece of fiction. So this is important, and given the kind of fact that, of course, the moviegoer will feel threatened, because we see on television, we read in newspapers on how these fringe groups try to make it clear to the public. That is a reason for them, in fact, to come out on television and come out through news mediums and tell people that we will do, X, Y, Z things where we could not let you be inside the movie theater, where we will do violence, we will take matter in our own hands. But then again, the moviegoers it's very difficult to make them believe that they will be all safe while going to watch these particular movies, especially when we talk about Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, and other strong 4 BJP-ruled states who had clearly, without putting their brains to the second thought, had banned the movie altogether. So, of course, this is going to make a difference on the mind of the moviegoer, whether he feels safe enough to go and watch the movie or not. But then again, it is the state's duty to not listen to certain fringe groups and try to avoid violence in such a way. Rather than use force, and put them on a silent note and let the moviegoers be at peace, because it is for the people. It is not to please everybody. One movie cannot please everybody on the planet. So it has to make sure that law and order is maintained and the moviegoers can go forward and put the movie in peace.
All right, Jessica Taneja getting us the very latest there with regards to the Padmaavat controversy. Thank you for those updates, Jessica.